Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders of Podcast. Today, I believe is episode 315. I'm talking again with my wonderful friend Susanne Hovis. We had a powerful conversation. We share a passion in common, quite a few in common, but especially the love of speed and car racing. And we're just talking. My one of my passion has been Formula One since I was a kid, and she's a former racer, drag car racing, and we did actually part one just about her sharing her experience about racing, how she got into that world, and powerful. I recommend you go back and watch that. But today we're going to talk about her and her business, just a little bit about her. She's based in Portland, Oregon, from Chicago, and she's also a fellow Libra. That's another thing we share in common.
Yes, I am.
And yeah, and she's a free spirited, loves traveling, just like me. We're same as they say here.
Mhm.
And she loves writing. And she wrote a chapter in a book with our wonderful publisher and friend, Mary Gooden. And that's another way that we connect as well. That's how actually we connected in a call
Mhm.
recently. And she also wrote a book of poems when she was young, in the dark. We're going to talk about that today. That's
Okay.
amazing. She does energy sessions. She loves nature. She loves photography. She loves hugging trees and all that, being close to nature. And yeah, and she's basically all about inspiring people, doing good. And yeah, and this is why we are here today for episode two, part two. And I'm super excited. So, Suzanne, my dear friend, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, Payman.
It's
So
pleasure.
excited to be here
Pleasure
with
on
you.
mine. Pleasure on mine always. We spent the last 30 minutes just talking about Formula One, about cars, absolutely beautiful. And so
Mhm.
for people who don't know you, over and beyond the short introduction I gave about you, we're gonna talk about your business in a moment, but as a person,
Mhm.
as a human being, as a woman, who's Suzanne?
Who is Suzanne? A kind, loving, generous spirit who loves to live in joy. That's all I can say. Loves to live in joy. There is absolutely no reason I was thinking on what you asked me about last week, which is what makes you sad and angry. And I said it's sad and angry. If I
Mm,
encounter sad and angry, I guess that makes me sad and angry because that means that person isn't able to recover, or at least not for the moment, not able to recover their joy. So, it's just about living in joy. Just living in joy. I That's all I can say. I like to be able to, I have no matter whether you work at a place or at a job, a job to pay the bills or what have you, and things like that. And I have this philosophy, and it's like, but this should apply just across the board. You work for yourself, okay? You may possibly work at some place, and you may possibly, well, every day you walk into that place, you are agreeing to work with the people that you're there with. And if that doesn't bring you at least 90% of joy, then you should consider moving on, because you're probably not, you know, you're not doing yourself or them any favors. Does that make
absolutely.
sense?
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Love
Hmm.
that. And the pursuit of joy is one of the most beautiful, fulfilling pursuit that one can get into in this life, because at the end of the day, you realize that sure, we all need to make money, we all need some material things, but ultimately what's
Hmm.
really gonna fulfill your heart and your life, it's being happy, being joy, and love.
That's
Love
right.
things around it, but
Love.
most importantly, loving yourself. Because one thing I heard that I will never forget is that the highest frequency in the universe is love, you know?
It is.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I love
Hmm.
how this has started. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
First question I want to ask you is, you like traveling, do you?
I do.
All right. Tell,
Hmm.
tell us what has been so far your most memorable travel in your life so far.
Memorable travel. My.
Travel, trip, expedition, adventure, however you
Yeah,
want to
my
put it.
goodness. You're making me think. So, you know, I had so much fun I had so much fun in Florida.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Always. It's always fun in
I
Florida.
I I'm telling you, I explored all of Florida. I know it's going to sound crazy, but I did did the whole drop into Orlando, go down the coast, went out to the Keys. That was amazing. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Oh, and I'm forgetting about Hawaii. Okay, I've been to Kauai. Kauai is my favorite. Uh, well, Kauai is my favorite no, I can't say that because once Pele called me to the Big Island, I just fell in love with that one. So I don't know. Florida, went down the coast, went out to the Keys, chasing all the geckos and everything, hugging those trees as well. Palm trees count. But then coming up the Gulf Coast, I mean, what fun. So again, sitting still, going and sitting on a beach is not my idea of fun. I had twice, I had booked to go to Costa Rica, and then the pandemic hit and I never got to go. So that's on my bucket list. Yeah. But you know what I was going to do there? I was going to stay in a sanctuary. So this is a animal and nature sanctuary. So I was going to be staying there and going on explorations out from there. I mean, to me, that's my happy place.
There you
You
go.
know,
Love
sitting
that.
on a beach, you know, that doesn't do it for me.
Because I know you like it fast, fast and
I
furious.
do like it fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And fast and I don't want to say scary. It's just fast and
On
furious.
the
How's that?
edge. On the edge.
On the edge. There you go. That's a good one.
Full of
Hmm.
adrenaline. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Love that.
Hmm.
Love that. Now, I want to take you down a different type of traveling, down memory line. Go back to when you were growing up. You know, when we were kids, people around us, family, relatives, neighbors, teachers, ask us, "Hey, Suzanne, what do you want to become when you grow up?" What was your answer to that question as a young girl?
Ruler of the world.
Ooh,
So it was interesting because I remember feeling that feeling, and I think I even wrote that into I think I did wrote it into my chapter because to me, that's what the power of joy and the power of love, but and the power of joy. It's like, yes, you're invincible. That's how I feel. You know, it's not about power over people or anything like that. It's just this amazing feeling of power, ruler of the world. Well, it's my world over my world, right? But what did I want to be when I grew up? I don't even remember anybody ever asking me that. I
oh,
know
really? Wow.
I've had, yeah, I know I've had everything from um, astronaut to I may have actually said I wanted to be a race car driver. It's one of those things where you're sitting there, especially during the time frame I was raised. You know, it's like you already you start hearing those things. I can see it. You know, it's like, oh, you couldn't be because you're a girl. You know, or you couldn't be because that'll never happen. And then I'll never forget when my dad told me he had me and my sister, and he was like, "Wow, look at that! You know, you guys could be the president of the United States." It was like, you can do anything, you know? And then yet when it came to me wanting to work on cars, he was like, no, you don't do that. Like, okay, dad.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Growing up,
yeah.
what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate it?
I have a feeling because I don't know, it's like, what was I like there? I I did not connect with the kids very well. I do remember that. I remember being more, I think, being a Libra, as you know, we're very air, right? So we're thinking all the time, or we're creating, right? It's
Ideas
like
all the time. Yes.
all the time ideas, you know? And so I have a feeling I was unique and wanted to talk about things that other people didn't understand or couldn't understand. Yeah, so or wanted to talk about things that were interesting to me, but maybe not to anyone else. That kind of thing. So that's what it was like for me. Did I like school? Yes, I liked going into school. I liked hanging out. I went to a Catholic school, grade school. Um, oh, and then the high school. That was just kind of scary, but but it was
Why?
fun.
Why was it scary?
I ended up. that's a whole nother story, but I ended up going to the public high school after being little Catholic grade school girl, first through eighth. And this I did as the firstborn of six kids. My dad really worrying about money. He's putting six kids through, you know, private school. And I found out that it doesn't cost him anything if I go to the public high school. So I was going to be, that, remember we were talking about last time how we were raised to like serve others or to do for others.
Yes.
Did I think about for me? No, I was thinking about the family. I was thinking about my dad. And I said, you know what, I'll go here. Oh boy, I was chewed up and spit out
Oh,
within
yeah.
the first year. Yeah, it was pretty crazy time. The school was overcrowded. To me, it seemed like a zoo.
Oh,
I
yes.
was in with, I was so worried about not knowing everything I'd need to know, because it's high school. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to be, I was going to have to work really hard. And I get in there and I remember being in, I think it was algebra, and I was in algebra class and they're starting to do the lessons. And I'm like, I learned this like 2-3 years ago, and the people who I was in the class with didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't have a clue. And I was like, oh boy. So to me, it was sad. I felt for them. I'm like, really? I don't know. So the value of that private schooling was amazing. And it
Mm.
served me well to this day. But we've gotten totally off track, didn't we? What did you ask me? Oh, it's school. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed being in class. I enjoyed being with people. Yeah, had
Awesome.
fun.
That's what matters. What was your favorite subject in school?
Actually, when I got into high school and I got to have art, that was it. Then when I got in, high school was really cool because then when I loved big projects. So when I was in, what was that? It was some sort of social studies class. And we had to do this project. And I remember doing it on, the subliminal seduction in advertising.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big thing. They still do it, but I mean, it was a big thing back in, I want to say 60s, 50s, 60s, where you could have, my dog. So you'll see an ad for, say, whiskey, right? And there's a glass with ice in it. And there'd be like naked people having, together, or like a naked woman in the ice. And
Holy.
your subconscious is receiving it, is seeing it, but you're not, because you're just looking at the picture. It's almost like, have you ever heard that where they used to do the one frame going by in when you're in a movie theater, and it's one frame of popcorn, and all of a sudden people get up and they didn't really see it, but this did, and then they go get popcorn. Yeah. So it's big business using subliminal seduction for that.
Yes.
And then with the art class, oh my gosh, give me clay, tell me to write. Let's paint. Show me how to paint. I could never do like my mom did. My mom was very artistic and could draw. I think she was going to art in the short college that she had, but she could draw faces and people and bodies and stuff. I never was all that great with that, but nature, give me nature. I'm there.
Beautiful. What was your least favorite subject in school?
Well, it was originally math until one teacher was able to she flipped a switch in me, and then all of a sudden I understood it. So then I was okay with it. So I don't think there was a subject that I really hated. I love science. See, I love learning. So for me, as long as I'm learning and I can ask questions and I can
Mm,
experiment and do things, oh my gosh,
beautiful.
happy girl.
Imagine that we were in the same class in grade 10, 11. What kind of girl were you? Were you the shy one, the nerdy one, the life of the party? What type of girl were you back then?
In school, I probably was more reserved, or I don't know if I'd say shy. I was always like, I'll never forget when I should say the school heartthrob, walked up from behind me and grabbed me around the waist and picked me up. And it was like, oh my gosh, and for me, it was like, ooh, for a young girl, and that's
Sure.
the heartthrob. All the girls were gaga over him, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Um, but why did I go there? Oh, people, the people I'm with. I say, for me, that was shocking, right? Because I'm a good little Catholic school girl, and you know, I'm but I was excited by it. I was like, this is exciting and this is cool and this is fun. I don't know.
Beautiful.
So I
That's
guess
a
I also was the type that, well, all right, here, let me tell you this. Sports.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was volleyball. I was volleyball. I was softball. I was 16-inch softball. I was 12-inch softball with glove, right? So then basketball, not so much. And when I went for track, I have a shorter inseam. So she told me, she says, you're more of a long distance, and that's how I run. I'm more of a long distance runner. So I was more cross country, things like that. But but yeah, so that lots of energy, love being around people, like to compete, you know. And I'm talking about fun compete. I mean, I remember when I first started the drag racing, and every race, most of the times I was winning, but the pass, right? But because guys get in their head that they're racing a girl, and so sometimes that makes it easy, but otherwise they also know that women usually have a quicker reaction time, and that's what matters in drag
Interesting.
racing, that
Yeah.
out the gate. Yeah. But anyway, so but I walk up to the guys afterwards and say, hey, great race. And some of them close their doors. They wouldn't even,
Did they
yeah.
know that they were racing a girl, or is it something
Oh
that?
yeah, you got your name right
Ah,
right
yeah, yeah.
across your window.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, and it's actually, like I said last time, it's actually just, I don't want to call it a small community, but because it's on TV, and because it's worldwide, it's and all that stuff. But the community that's actually racing is actually quite small.
Sure.
It really is. I mean, and so they all know each other. I kind of like that. But in drag racing, because everybody knew each other, and everybody had their own personalities. It's almost like being in
Yeah,
school,
absolutely. The
right?
world of sports, especially at the highest level, is very a tight-knit community, absolutely, in every sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned this boy. Were you popular with
Mm-hmm.
the boys in school?
Not that I knew of,
Really?
because, well, I shouldn't say that, because when I got to high school, yeah, I was being asked out by a lot of guys, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, yeah, so I was more like, okay, and having fun, and trying to make my way to, okay, how much of this is okay, per the Catholic Church, per the way I was raised, and how much is not, and all that stuff, which I'm sure everybody has. But
Sure.
yeah, I wasn't, say, popular like the the homecoming queen or anything like that. That wasn't me. I was more, think about it. I'm going to small gas engines class. So they don't really know how to take me either sometimes, right? So it's like, well, okay, the girls don't, I don't have a whole lot in common with the girls necessarily, right? Because they're like, you're sitting there in the engines, you know. Um, because that's where my passion was, and that's what I thought was cool.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Oh, well, and then once I found out what cutting class was all about, and I was like, what? You can't not go to class? And then there I was getting into, so my one boyfriend had a 72 Charger C with a slapstick. Oh, I was having fun with that when I cut class. And then And then the 68 Z28 RSSS, that will be in my garage. That one I could have had for $2,500, but when I came home and said, Dad, I gotta buy this car, he was like, no, no. So now you probably couldn't touch those cars for under 75,000,
Yeah.
between 50 and 75. Yeah, I mean, so anyway. But anyway, so popular, I don't know, having fun, yeah.
Beautiful.
I,
Beautiful.
I don't know how I stayed out of trouble, but I did. I didn't get arrested. I never got arrested.
Yeah. Especially, yeah.
Mm.
Have you been ever pulled over because you were driving too fast?
Oh yeah. In fact, I was just thinking, so there here we are in Chicago, so driving in snow, that's a no-brainer,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I
Raleigh.
remember it was Raleigh. I
Oh,
remember going out with my boyfriend and we were, partying a little bit. And so it was like, whoo, first snow. So it was a good, I don't know, it had to be 10 to 12 inches. So it's
oh,
like, okay, so we're having fun, right? On the snow. But then we hit a spot that it went right off into the ditch. Dang, so then you're trying to get it out of the ditch. And come on, this is high school stuff, but we ended up having to go to one of the houses nearby and that. So anyway, that was fun. Yeah.
beautiful.
Found out though that I didn't know I hit something, but I did. My dad found out the next morning when he saw it in the car, and I'm like,
Mm.
oops.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oops.
did I get pulled over for going too fast? I usually got pretty lucky with the fast stuff. Although we used to go out to the forest preserve, which was our run to the cops come place. And yeah, that was getting more and more dangerous because some of the local, the tracks, some of the guys were bringing cars on trailers. And then you're in a forest preserve and you're on just yeah, you're going off into the trees if you're not staying on the
Oh, yeah.
track. So anyway, yeah.
Sliders
My
mistake for the
dad,
one. Yeah.
what's that? Yeah, my dad talked about maybe this was part of what fueled my passion, but he always told stories about they were the Illinois Timing Association they put together, and they would soup up cars, and these were the flatheads of the 50s, right? And so they'd soup up the cars, and then the cops would come and mark off the quarter mile and stay there. So in other words, they did it for them so that there were police cars there if anything happened, things like that. And they got to test and tune their cars because we didn't have a local drag strip. Yeah, he didn't.
That's amazing.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool. Isn't that cool?
Very
I
cool.
mean,
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? So I mean, I guess I grew up around the stories, wow, that's cool. That's got to be amazing. I have to do that.
Has anyone told you that you should write a book about that?
Yes, my mother told me all the time, all the time. So, and it's in process. It's in process.
Good, good.
Building yeah,
I was about to say, what are you waiting for?
I know, right? No, I have one. I have one started, and it needs to be finished. So, life kind of, it's interesting because I got to a certain point and I said, you know what? I couldn't get past it. It's that whole writer's block thing. So, because it was like born, it's what it felt like. I just all of a sudden one day I said, "Ooh," and I sat down. And have you ever caught a wave like that, or whatever you want to call
Oh,
it?
yeah.
And it's like,
Inspiration.
I got to do this now. Yeah, inspiration. You got to grab it then, and you got to just, And it was the first experience for me where I was just like, boom, and it's a 200 pager. I mean, in its current state.
Here's a
In
tip for
current
you.
form.
Here's a tip for you,
Mm-hmm.
for example, because as an
Mm-hmm.
author, we know that the worst place to be is facing a blank screen and the blinking cursor, So one thing I do,
Mm-hmm.
A 15-minute, you just fire up your Zoom with a notepad
Mm-hmm.
with, bullet points, and you just talk. 15-minute talk is about 6,000 words. Sorry, 3,000 words, 3,000 words.
3,000 words sounds about
Yeah,
right.
15 minutes.
That's great.
And you just do
And
that.
you know what?
And then you just
Yeah.
transcribe it and clean it up, and there you go.
Who's translating it for me?
Transcribe it, not translating.
I mean, oh, I'm sorry, transcribing. That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's doing that?
There's AI tools that you
Yeah,
can just
AI.
hire
That's what you
someone.
told me about last time.
Yes.
That's why I said that.
Or you
I'm
can
like,
hire someone
okay,
expensively on those freelancer websites, but yeah.
wow.
I'm
I'm gonna
actually
have
gonna
to
make
give
it
it a
one of
shot.
my challenges for this year to write a book completely without writing a single word, by just speaking it. That's one of my
That
challenges
sounds
for this year.
amazing. That sounds amazing. All right, let's do this. So, as you're okay. Uh, do you have another question for me? Because I thought
Oh,
of something.
yeah, yeah. I will document that journey. Yes, I have many questions. So, tell us, what was your very first job? And do you remember how much you get paid the first time you worked?
How much I got paid? So my first job was Margie's, the best Italian beef in the
Mm,
Chicago suburbs, probably in Chicago too. Well, they had a Chicago based restaurant as well, but Margie's was amazing. The people were amazing. It was so much fun. Yeah. And how much did I get paid? This was the big thing. It was like, ooh, I wasn't old enough by law to be working, so he paid me under the table. So I got paid cash, which is way cool. But I want to say, how much would a paycheck be for me? 70, maybe $70. I was working after school a lot. I mean, I've always been kind of a worker. Shoot, one of the first things I did, I sold Christmas cards. Why? Because I learned I could, if I sold Christmas cards, I could enough Christmas cards, I could go ahead and get this fishing kit, and when we go out fishing with Daddy, because he would take us every year to go to Muskie. So I was selling Christmas cards when I was 10, maybe. And then
wow.
by the time I was what, then I was, of course, I was babysitting. I was babysitter for a while, and then yeah, Margie's came along, and that was, I think I was 14. So yeah, always been a worker.
Amazing. Wow. That's incredible. Wow. So when you said $70, was that per week? Was that per month?
I'm gonna say it was $70 by week. Yeah, I think we got paid weekly.
Okay, wait one
There we
second.
go. Now you're animated again.
Yeah, we froze for a
There we go.
second. Just, I think I
Oh,
pooped a bit.
maybe turn off your. Yeah, I think your feed is a little bit dicey. There you go.
Is it better now?
Okay. Yes. Oh, you don't want to do that. It does kind of go a little bit.
Frame by frame,
Goes a little bit crazy. I noticed, you know, I know that about part one. I saw it on. It will affect the wave, I guess, coming from the front room.
Seems to
My
be
Wi-Fi.
back to normal now.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Beautiful. Now let's move forward.
Yep.
There's a saying that says, change your story, change your life. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves and between our 2 ears all day long. So when you, Suzanne, you're at some of your lowest, darkest parts of your life, how
Mm-hmm.
did you change your story internally to change your reality externally?
How did I change my reality? I yes, because given a couple of one specific pretty good trauma, which I do speak of in the chapter that I have in Shine Your Soul Light, it was divinely inspired, right? So I guess the way I do that is by talking to my team,
Mm,
right? I don't. So I guess, and so I'm hopeful, you know, But changing that story, well, it changes as soon as as soon as you allow intervention from beyond. That's how I do it, right?
Absolutely.
Or yeah, you know, yeah.
Love
I guess
that.
that's
Yeah,
how I describe it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Share with us now your path from the moment you left school to now.
Yeah, boy. What a path. So I well, and this is what mom kept telling me, you gotta write your book, you gotta write your story, you gotta write your story. She was always amazed. And a lot of people, that I always bounced back and always, went on to the next thing. And I'm like, well, what else is there to do? I don't know. I'm not gonna sit there. Like I said, like I was saying to you before, was I popular? No, I wasn't even, it didn't even matter to me if I was popular. I was more interested in enjoying life and exploring and adventuring and oh my gosh, what is there to learn, about people, about what they do, about all kinds of things. So that's always been my drive. So high school, interesting because there I was, what was I, sophomore or was I junior? Might have been, oh, I was young. So being a September birthday and went into to class, right? Started classes sooner, right? Or started, right? So I was always the youngest. So I didn't turn 16 until I got out my sophomore year, right? Because then
Mhm.
September, we're starting our junior year and that's when I got my license. But um, so I was always the youngest, but I saw the recruiters come. The recruiters came to the school, and I was drawn to the Marines.
Wow.
My heart, my soul was just screaming for Marines. So I went up and talked to them, grabbed the sheet, brought it home, and I said, Dad, I gotta do this, And so here we go. Here's Dad again. He just looked at me and he said, women don't belong in the military and no daughter of mine will be in the military. So that's as if from God, right? If Dad spoke. So he wouldn't sign my papers and I wasn't old enough to go on my own, right? So I always say I is as difficult as it might have been, and maybe he did protect me from things, but I gotta tell you, it was just as scary being on this side of being in the military. Okay, for a woman, sometimes on this planet.
Sure.
So yeah, so I think definitely my path would have been completely different. But
It's okay.
yeah, and what I saw was I wanted that discipline. I loved. Oh my gosh, I asked. Here's another dad. Here's another thing about my dad. Dad loved Christmas. It was always like, what do you want for Christmas? So I said I wanted a weight set, right? So here I am. I'm in sports. I want to be strong. I'm in amongst guys, right, who are always, kind of. And so for me, I don't know. There was just a part of me that wanted to be strong, and I wanted to make myself strong. So I was running. I was doing my running 5 miles a day, but I asked for a weight set, and come Christmas morning, there was the weight set underneath the Christmas tree, but it had my brother's name on it. He never touched it. I did. So here I am, well, I was thrilled, right? So I'm going ahead and I'm doing my weights, but and building up my muscles and being strong. I used to take on some of those guys, with you know, wrestling, arm wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah. Fun, whatever. So, and tough girl, I was going to the roller rink. I remember one time, yeah, I mean, this is kind of, you got to think about, so big city, Chicago, a lot of people go, oh, I've even had one person once go, wow, you're from Chicago? Did you ever see a dead body? Because a lot of people, seriously.
That's a good one.
Right? That was actually asked of me. I was like, no. But oh, do you own a gun? Was the next question, right? Because they saw people getting shot in Chicago and things like that. Now, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, but only 30 miles away. And when you have a city as big as that, and as in, so many people, all right, you're affected by the city. That's why I tell people I'm from Chicago area, but I'm not a city, in the city
Mm.
limits, but even so.
You know
So
what our answer to those people is? Have you seen Dead by Say no? But growing up, I was the best friend with Al Capone's ghost.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, that's all kind of cool, right? All those crazy characters that we had there and the things that they did, and they're crazy, but anyway, crazy Italians, got a bunch of crazy Irishmen. I mean,
Oh yeah.
although, it is crazy. It's a really great city. I love that city. I love Chicago. Beautiful city. So I miss it. Okay. And so, but there was an element of being tough, wanting to be tough. And I remember when they were the things on TV would be talking about shows on TV, not documentary, what do you call it? Like the talk shows, and then they were talking about, to protect yourself when you're walking in the city as a woman, when you have your purse, and to be, very alert, watching your, so we're growing up with that, around us. So I don't know, maybe that's why I wanted to be tough. I certainly didn't want anybody messing with me, but anyway, but I would never instigate a fight. I was no, it wasn't even remotely in my nature. Well, here I am at the going to the roller rink, and there's the guys and the girls, and yes, I was being asked by a number of guys, and in fact, I found out that I guess one of them had a girlfriend. She wasn't too happy that he was talking to me, but anyway, I remember walking out one time of the roller rink, and this girl starts coming up to me going, she was like trying to pitch a fight with me, and I stood there and I'm like, yeah, I'm Suzanne, or Sue actually, and she's going all, and I'm like, okay, I don't know who you are or why you want to fight with me, but I'm out of here. And she just walked away, and I got this reputation for being this tough broad that everybody was afraid of. So I don't know. But anyway, so what did you ask me? You asked me from
I
high
forgot.
school? I know. Did you? I know. Here I am
No.
going on about,
I
I'm
asked you
as
about
bad as my dad.
your path from the moment you left
Yeah, my
school.
path from there. So see, look what happened. There I am, getting into roller, maybe fights at the roller rink and stuff, but holding my own. Then what happened? I meet this guy, and get married very young, have a child. I do have a child. Not a great marriage, not a good one. So anyway, did that for about a good 7 years, escaped that one. And yeah, and then I got married again. Real great guy, but it just wasn't a good fit, but what was I doing? Gee whiz, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know, a lot of working. Motorcycles. I worked at Harley Davidson. Okay.
Wow.
And oh yeah, I worked at Harley Davidson. And so I was, so what do we have?
What were you doing
What did I do?
Yeah.
So I started working at the one Harley Davidson, and pretty much I was selling whatever, it's all the not the actual motorcycles. I was selling all the rest, right? And then he was getting a higher level Harley Davidson dealership, and that's a big deal. You don't get Harley Davidson dealerships. Somebody has to die or retire or something, and there's one available at the time, at least. And so he was getting this upscale one. They called it a AAA or an A+ level. And so there was I told him I wanted to have my own business. And I told them, I said, how about I do the, oh, what do you call it? The, oh boy, I'm blanking.
The
You
promotion,
know,
the marketing.
it would be all the earrings and
Ah,
leather jackets, all that.
oh,
I
okay.
can't think of the
The
boutique,
merchandising. Oh,
the
boutique. Okay.
boutique, the
Oh,
boutique part. And so he said, okay, you do that and I'll do the dealership part.
mm,
So that we were going down that path. I was getting myself a small business, loan to get set up and everything. I had everything all set up. And then he decided to come back and said, how about you work for me? And I
nice.
was like, no, I didn't want to work for him. I wanted my own business. I did not want to do that. I wasn't going to make the same money, but
Sure, sure.
anyway, so quite frankly, I was always okay. Growing up, I was dirt. I loved our mini bike in the dirt. So I was all about motorcycles, but and of course then it's like, oh, I got to be a Harley Davidson, right? So the my first bike was a Honda 350, and then I was getting tired. I didn't want to. I was not because I grew up in the dirt. I didn't want to be a backseat rider. I wasn't a good backseat rider on a bike, right? Because I was always putting my foot down, right? If somebody's turning and I'm putting my foot down, well, that's what you do when you're in the dirt. But anyway, so I ended up saying, that's it. I'm going to go get my own license. So I went to the school, got myself a license, and I got into a Sportster. Sportster was, oh my gosh, that's a hard ride. That is not the ride for me. But I had a Harley Davidson Sportster for a while. Then we ended up with a what do we have? We had a Heritage Softail. Now that was like a Cadillac compared to the other to the other one. And so that was amazing. But then I realized I don't like driving motorcycles on the
Oh no,
street. On the streets, no.
absolutely.
So I'd rather do it in the dirt. So I had that pass. So then that second husband, when I was with that second husband, that's when I got the opportunity. I was working at FTD corporate offices, and I had just been elevated. I think I mentioned this before, but I had just been elevated to key account executive, and I got this opportunity to race. And my uncle told me, I called my uncle when I got back. I said, Uncle Rich, I can't get it out from under my skin. And he says, well, then move. So I did. So I said, I'm out of here. And they were like, but no, wait, you can't go. I'm like, I gotta go. So I flew out and just did it. My second husband didn't feel so much like he wanted to. He was a little bit nervous about moving clear across the country and all that. Not me. I'm just gone. I'm like, this is when you get an opportunity like that. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
no,
Following your
you got to grab it.
passion, heart, your soul. Yes, indeed.
Oh, well, I didn't even know how much it was, but boy. And what a blessing. I'm so grateful for that opportunity and just for taking it. So then there I am out there living a dream as far as I'm concerned. First 4.5 years were amazing, outstanding. I met everybody that I used to watch on TV, growing up. I met them all, in the industry, everywhere from Pomona all the way up to Sears Point Raceway. I was out in Arizona. I mean, I did some what do they call that commentary? I was commentary in the tower in Arizona for vintage racing. That was so much fun. I mean, whatever. It's like, come on, I just want to have fun. I just want to have fun and enjoy life. So
yeah, just like the song says, girls just want to have fun, boys too,
right. And if you're not having fun, what's the point?
Exactly.
Oh, he can't sit
Hello,
still.
we have a
Are you gonna
special
say
guest
hello?
here. What's his name?
This is Bevo. Wait.
Hey, Bevo, what's up?
Bevo. He's like, what?
Bevo,
He looked
good
at
boy,
you.
good
He
boy,
looked
good
at you.
boy.
Oh my gosh.
Wait.
He just can't.
Get him,
There we go.
get him to be still. I will take a picture. Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Hey.
Whoops. What's this?
Look. No. Okay, wait.
Vivo.
Look.
Vivo.
Look here. No.
Buddy. It's okay. It's beautiful, beautiful. Anyways, thank you for a special appearance by Vivo.
Sorry, did you see what a spaz? Okay, he
No
is
worries.
he is old man. He's almost 15. Uh
Wow.
yeah, and so he's starting to lose it a little. That's why he's out there barking and he's like, "Where did mom go?" You know, he has no idea where I went. And yeah. Now I gave you two bio pictures and I think one of them has Bevo.
Yes, yes, yes,
I
yes.
did. That's
Mm,
him. Look at him. He was sitting there, even smiled for the camera. That girl taking my headshots. I was like, wow, look at that one. So that's Bevo.
that's
And
beautiful.
Bevo is named after a longhorn steer. So he's from Austin, Texas. Yep, I had to fly him up to California when I found him, or we found each other. And they take their football very seriously down there. And that's UT Austin, University of Texas at Austin. And so there's a lot of pets named Bevo down there, is what I've heard. So he's one of them,
Absolutely. Wow. Beautiful,
my Texas
beautiful.
boy.
Awesome.
So, and I have to tell you, so it's my life has cultivated my path, me all along the way.
Mm,
Gosh, I lived so it feels like I've lived so many different lives. And it's always because I moved to a different place, location, did a different job. One of my favorite, in fact, UT in Austin was a trip that I took with one of my favorite places I worked with, which was a laser manufacturer, and I'm talking big custom lasers in California. Amazing.
wow.
I mean, to learn, I talked with people all over the world, uh, and working on their lasers and that. I even worked on the laser at. I worked on a couple of the laser heads that are in where they did fusion in Lawrence Livermore Labs in
Mhm.
California. So I am like, oh my gosh, they actually did it where they hit the button and it went around the world that they actually made it happen. It was amazing. They've used lasers. Get this. So this is me. You want to know me? So here's my brain. Uh, they've used lasers to slow down what was that? Water. What
Mm,
was it? Water or whatever, so that it's almost like slowing down time. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff that I learned over there.
mm.
But and I say so and then from there my son ended up graduating and dream come true for me, or prayers answered, if you will. Uh he got a job at Intel.
Ah,
And yep, and I helped him move out here to Portland, Oregon, which is where the one where he got hired is. And so he's an engineer at Intel. And as soon as I saw Oregon and all the trees and the water, I was just like thrilled. And then from there, mom needed some help after a while, and so I ended up going back to Illinois. And that's kind of me. It's funny. At one point I said I feel like a hummingbird,
mm,
just as joyful. To me, those hummingbirds are joy inspired. I mean, you're those they're going so fast because they're so full of joy. That's what I feel anyway. Um, it takes a lot to get those to keep those
absolutely.
wing and flapping. So anyway, that's what I have felt like, and I feel very akin to the hummingbird.
Absolutely beautiful. Wow, what a story. What a path. What a path. Amazing. Amazing.
Hmm.
Wow, Susan, what a story. I love it. I love talking to you. Love your passion, your drive, everything. And thank you for that special appearance by Bevos, and that
Yeah.
was sweet. And yeah, listen, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Go to my website, SuzanneHovis.com. You can, or reach me at SuzanneHovis.com. Either way, I do have a connect or contact on there. You can do a one-on-one with me. I have that if you schedule time with me. It's within the energy. You go to the energy session, place, the energy work, and go ahead and do a one-on-one, free one-on-one. Let's get to know each other, kind of like you, Payman.
Beautiful. Love that. Awesome. Listen, I
Yeah,
salute you. You're a cheerleader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world, your presence, your impact. Keep living life on the edge. Just like you love doing it.
on the
Fast and
edge.
curious, full of adrenaline,
Yes.
following your heart. And stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you. And I can't wait for our part 3 of this beautiful ongoing conversation with you, Suzanne. Take care.
Ditto.
Yeah. Ciao.